not a Christmas person. The holiday just never spoke to me like Halloween. So I decided this year I'm going to change that and try to become a Christmas person. I even bought an outfit to fully commit to this challenge. So I made a list and I did check it twice. Said list contains a bunch of Christmas themed movies and specials to see if I inhale enough Christmas content will I become a Christmas lover. I'm going to rate all the media out of 5. 1 means it made me pray for Halloween to come back, and 5 means it put me in the Christmas spirit. Things that will be considered in this rating of is it Christmassy? You might ask, what classifies as Christmassy? Basically, judging if it's Christmas themed enough. To me, will make something Christmas themed. Obviously, the majority of the piece of media has to be set at Christmas time. It can start several months or even years before that, but the bulk of the piece of media has to be set at the end of December. The media normally concludes on Christmas Day or Boxing Day. Points if there's an appearance of a Santa. Also, bonus points if it has a message in it, like family and friendship are important around that time of year. The most important criteria is that none of the characters are acting out of character. None of them are doing things that they would not normally do just because it's Christmas. And it being the Christmas season has to be the most important thing to the plot. The first on my list of Christmas-based media to watch is The Merry Little Batman that came out in 2023. I got reminded of the existence of this Christmas movie as they have made a spin-off series called Bat Fam that came out in November. In case you are somehow unaware of the almost 90-year-old fictional character that is Batman, I shall give you a brief summary. Bruce Wayne lost both his parents in a robbery he had to witness as a young boy. This traumatic incident inspired him to become a vigilante and go around dressed as a bat, fighting criminals like the Joker, Riddler, Poison Ivy, and Bane in a city called Gotham. If you're a fan of DC Batman, the Bat Family, or any of its associated characters, or have ever read a comic book, watched an animated or live action show, or seen any of the movies, you're going to have to throw all that information you have learned from those out of your brain to enjoy this movie. The premise of this film is that Batman has finally eradicated all the crime in Gotham by either imprisoning or forcing the criminals to retire, now making Gotham the safest place on earth. The reason he did this is because he found out he was going to have a son, and he wanted the city of Gotham to be safe for him. That does imply Batman always had the ability to cleanse all of Gotham and just didn't for some reason, but oh well. In the present time, that son grew up to be Damian Wayne. He has been raised in a crime-free Gotham his whole life by Alfred and Bruce. Batman has seemingly retired to become a stay-at-home dad. Damian wants to follow in his father's footsteps and become a crime fighter, but his father is really cautious of this. Bruce gets summoned away by the Justice League, and Damian convinces Alfred to go to the store to get marshmallows, leaving him alone. Then Wayne Manor gets robbed, and this develops into a Home Alone situation, I think. I have also never watched Home Alone. I'm not a Christmas person. This movie is written in a way that even if you have no knowledge of Batman and the characters around him, you can enjoy this movie, but it also has small references for traditional fans of Batman, like Nightwing being on Damian's emergency contact list, the mention of characters like Talia and Clark. We get to see staples of the franchise like the Batmobile and the Batcave. Also, I don't know why he looked like the Crimson Chin. The art style was interesting. Now to the main question of, is this Christmassy? While the conflict between Damian and Bruce could have been done any time of the year, the villains in this story would not have worked without the Christmas holiday. Some of the movie is set before Christmas, but most of it is on Christmas Eve and Christmas. So I give it a 4 out of 5. Certain scenes were a bit drawn out, but overall it was fine. Now talking to the Batman fans, if you're someone who normally hates Damian Wayne, then you're going to love this movie, as he is completely different from most other portrayals of the character. The movie targets a younger audience and is a considerably less serious take on the Dark Knight overall, but it still deals with a lot of serious themes. I think the most obvious being grief and trauma. Batman purged the entire city of crime so aggressively and thoroughly in this movie that villains were scared to commit crime for a decade. It's also obvious that the death of his parents bled through when he found out he was going to be a parent and decided to never lead to someone again. Whilst his overprotective nature in this movie is portrayed as humorous, it's pretty sad if you think about it for even a second. Also, a fun fact that most of you will not care about, Santa is canonically real in the DC comic and has fought alongside Batman and Superman. He did not appear in this movie though, which was disappointing. On the topic of dangerous Christmas movies, do you guys consider Die Hard a Christmas movie? The next piece of media I will be watching is Scooby-Doo Haunted Holiday, which is a 22-minute special that appears on the DVD compilation 13 Spooky Tales, Holiday Chills and Thrills. There are a bunch of other episodes on this DVD, such as What's New Scooby-Doo, A Scooby-Doo Christmas, The New Scooby-Doo Mysteries, The Nutcracker Scooby, and a bunch of others. Scooby-Doo Haunted Holiday is the only episode on the DVD to be made just for the DVD, so that is why I'm reviewing it instead of any of the others, and I did grow to regret it. In case you've never watched a Scooby-Doo TV show or movie, this franchise revolves around 4 teenagers / adults and their dog called Scooby, who can partially talk and has at least the same intelligence as Shaggy over here, which makes Scooby a genius of a dog and Shaggy moron. The group's official name is Mystery Incorporated, but they're often referred to as Mystery Inc. and The Gang. The gang travels around the world, or just the US, depending on the piece of media. Everywhere they travel, they run into a new mystery where a seemingly supernatural being is causing havoc for an unknown reason, and Mystery Incorporated take it upon themselves to solve the mystery of what's going on. The plot of this special is Mystery Incorporated are watching a parade because Daphne and Velma are in it for some reason. They run into the owner of the local toy factory and his nephew. They socialize for a bit. The gang find out that the toy store is not doing well and is at risk of shutting down if the parade does not do well, as the parade is the only thing that ever brings business into the area because this town is in the middle of nowhere. Then a blizzard arrives out of nowhere and people start getting attacked by these evil snowmen. Everyone flees. The mystery gang end up in the toy factory with the toy factory owner and his nephew and a couple other people. The nephew tells them the origins of the toy factory, and after hearing it, they decide to investigate to see if the troubles they are experiencing are the cause of a curse from an angry old man or is something else nefarious going on at this toy factory. This special was my least favourite. It did not put me in the Christmas mood. It was so obviously meant to be a movie, and they cut it down to 22 minutes. There are a few surprises in the plot, but I don't want to spoil anything in case anyone wants to go watch it. But certain parts were fun. I just wish it had a longer runtime, maybe even 30 minutes would have been better. When it comes to Christmas, you don't want to rush through it. It's meant to be a holiday that is savoured. Yeah, there were Christmas decorations all around, but it did not feel Christmassy in my opinion. They added a Santa. That was not enough. There are better Scooby-Doo Christmas specials. You might have to watch those next year because this was a letdown, a 2 out of 5 on the merry scale that I made up in my head. Next up, The Muppet Christmas Carol. The Muppets are a group of puppets that have been on screens around the world for decades now. They are known for their TV shows, their original movies, and their adaptations of popular films. The main Muppets are Kermit the Frog, Fozzie Bear, Gonzo, Miss Piggy, Walter and Statler, and Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. This is a Muppet adaptation of The Christmas Carol, a story by Charles Dickens. The story is about a man, Ebenezer Scrooge, who is this old cranky businessman who hates Christmas and thinks everyone who enjoys it is stupid. He is so bitter and miserable that it's affecting everyone around him. So the universe sends him the ghost of his dead business partners to warn him that he should be nicer or it's going to have dire consequences. But apparently that wasn't enough to fix him, so 3 more ghosts visit him. The ghost of Christmas Past, and then we see a bunch of his childhood memories around Christmas and how he's always been miserable, and him being a miserable old fart is not a new thing. Then we see the ghost of Christmas Present, and we go around town seeing how his misery is affecting other people and how other people have it so much worse than him, yet they're still trying to be happy this time of year. Then we see the ghost of Christmas Future, and we find out that everyone hates him. The purpose of all these trips is to fix him, and it does. The ghost of Christmas Present was my favourite for the most part. This is just a regular adaptation of A Christmas Carol, but the best part of this movie is Gonzo and Rizzo, who play Charles Dickens and his assistant. These two made it a completely different movie, in my opinion. This is my favourite adaptation of A Christmas Carol, and it's my second favourite Muppet movie, just because of these two. Even though they're Muppets, and the silliness of a frog working and living in Victoria, London is happening, it does not take away from the sadder scenes in the film, like when we learn that this child is dying. The fact that it's an adaptation, but it still has surprises for you, is well liked. You can't wait to see which characters are playing which iconic roles. I also like a lot of the songs in this movie. None of them feel forced. The outfits are also really nice. Gonzo and Miss Piggy's outfits are the best. This movie came out in 1992, making it the oldest on the list of things I'm watching, and it still holds up to this day. The Muppets are timeless. The Muppets have done a few other adaptations like Muppets Treasure Island and Muppet Wizard of Oz, and I think this is my favourite. 4 out of 5 on the Christmas scale. The next Christmas special I will be looking at is from Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir, called Santa Claus. This show is about these 2 Paris teens who are the only ones standing between the world and utter chaos. Also, these 2 are in love with each other and have been tormenting their fandom for the past 10 years with the world's worst slow burn. They are constantly fighting this man who wants to end the world so he can bring back his dead wife, and is neglecting his son to do it. This special being a musical really shocked me. They just started singing within the first 10 seconds and it truly rocked me. The movie starts off with Marinette giving out baked goods at her family's bakery, being all happy. Then it cuts to Adrian coming to the realization his father is probably going to ignore him on Christmas like he does every other day of the year, even though he just lost his mother the year before. Adrian jumps out of the windows and starts swinging around Paris singing about how sad he is. His dad does end up going to visit him and discovers Adrian's gone and assumes he has been kidnapped and starts raising the alarms, contacting everyone, thinking that his son's in terrible danger, and everyone of their friends in the city are running around searching for him. He is fine. Adrian ends up running into this Santa guy and they have a heart-to-heart talking about their troubles at the Christmas time, and then it all goes downhill from there. This special was very much in character for all of them. Adrian feeling lonely like he does all the time in the show, his dad not paying attention to him most of the time, and Marinette is reacting poorly to a situation. Basically 90% of the show is there. It had an overall message of togetherness and community, and they all thought Adrian was in trouble. They managed to get to search for him, only because his dad's heart grew a size. It shrunk back down to normal the next day. The special it's another case of a special that should have been a movie, considering how rushed everything felt. I did look it up and apparently it was meant to be a movie, but they had to cut it down and it was noticeable. I also don't think any of the songs are memorable. I'm actually a big fan of musical specials, so this was extra disappointing to me. Overall, too, I just felt bad for Santa and Adrian. Lastly is Billy and Mandy Save Christmas. This was my favourite Christmas special as a kid, so if anything can convert me, it will be this special. This is a Christmas special set in the world of Billy and Mandy, which is a show about these two kids and the Grim Reaper, who lost a bet and is now forced to be best friends with these kids. Billy and Mandy are at a mall, where they accidentally end up in line for the mall Santa. Mandy and Grim end up in an argument about whether Santa is real or not, so after Billy starts a mall riot that results in the mall Santa being beat up and the Christmas tree gets set alight, they decide to settle this argument. Grim brings Billy and Mandy to the North Pole to prove that Santa is real. They get to Santa's workshop and notice it's very quiet and empty. They eventually find the elves and Mrs. Claus hiding. Turns out that Santa has been turned into a vampire and tried to drink the blood of an elf, so he was locked away in a gingerbread coffin. So Grim, Mandy and Billy took up the task of hunting down the head vampire to kill them to free Santa from his vampiric curse. Watching Grim and Mandy work hard to save Santa while Billy just starts his job as an elf for Mrs. Claus was quite fun. This is the best Christmas special celebrating the holiday without losing the point of the show. It was a perfect mix of festive and spooky with the gore, the elves, the cookies, the vampires. I honestly don't think there could have been a better way to do this special, and I really loved it. This worked so well for the show. We also found out Santa and Grim went to college together. 5 in my opinion. Instead of Christmas, it has Santa. It has a message of paying attention to those that you care about at the end. So after all those specials in the movie, have I been converted to a Christmas lover? No. I definitely am less of a Grinch. Maybe next year I'll stick up some trees and be chomping on candy cane. But until then, I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye. Oh, and Merry Christmas.